Hey everybody, I hope y'all having a good day. Because my day going well, I hope y'all day going well as well. In my opinion, because like for me, I will be doing my review everything like that, just on Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. Just see what y'all like, what y'all didn't like, everything else like that. Because if y'all liked it, then y'all can put it up in the comment section. If y'all like it or didn't like it, because like for me, right, the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness had to be one of Marvel best films in this phase, in my opinion. It got to be, and that is my opinion about that, because this got to be one of Marvel best films so far, and that just my opinion about that. Because if y'all think it's not, or think it is, then y'all can put it up in the chat or comment section after this live stream over. Y'all can give just y'all ratings for it and everything else like that. Because like for me, right, my opinion of this movie is not bad. This has to be one of the most serious, most stakes MCU film I've seen so far. Because like for me, right, in my opinion, and stuff like that, that what I know, what I know that what I've seen, this Doctor Strange movie has showed depth. It showed like an actual, it showed a villain. It did had a good villain, and Wanda was a good villain. But the thing about for me, right, in my opinion, is like for the Wanda thing, I did have a little problem with it. I did have a little bit problem with the just with the Wanda thing. Oh, oh,
Hello.
oh, hey, what's up, Jonathan?
Are we have we started the review yet?
Now I just not started.
All right, cool.
Because like for me, right, dealing with Wanda, I did have problems just with her character. Because you look at the end of the Wonder Vision show, you would
Yeah.
have think that she would have had some kind of
Yeah.
remorse of what
Yeah.
she did.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because it seems like the movies is now following the series, and that's kind of like my problem.
Yeah, yeah. The one thing I'll say about that is if they over explain it, you would lose that surprise of her, that reveal of when she's the villain, you know what I mean? So it's like a
Yeah,
balancing of like how much do you want to like over explain like what's going on with her, whether instead of like leaving that bit open ended like with that surprise in the movie theater, you know what I mean?
yeah, that kind of like for me, right? Instead of Wanda being the villain, they could have put Mister Sinister controlling her, just being the villain. Yeah,
Yeah, that could work. Yeah, it's just I feel like for a TV show that would work because you'd have like loads of episodes, but for like for a 2 hour movie to like explain that those layers of like who's controlling who and that, I feel like it'd be a bit too complicated for the kids. Maybe you know what I mean.
yeah, 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 yeah. Because
they,
like
they 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 definitely should have called this movie like Doctor Strange versus Wanda instead of like you know
yeah, yeah. Because like for me, right, I look at the title and look at the movie.
exactly. Yeah, totally.
That
The maths ain't mathing.
yeah, it wasn't mapping up because I look at that. I said, wait a minute. I thought it says the multiverse of madness,
Yeah,
and Wanda supposed to be help fixing it. She ain't supposed to be helping break it apart.
yeah. But that's Marvel for you with their trailers. They have a history of doing this with Endgame, Infinity War,
Yeah,
using shots and like hiding stuff and using fake things. They always do that stuff. It's annoying.
yeah, yeah. Because of the Fantasy War thing, it sounded like that first trailer just with Hawk, Captain America, everybody running up in Wakanda. I still was mad. I still was mad when I didn't
Yeah, yeah,
saw that scene in the theaters. I was mad,
yeah,
and plus I say that, and plus I said that doing my review in one of them or something like that. Somebody tell me talk some Marvel just had to put something in the trailer. I said, wait a minute, that is false advertisement.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's true. It's true. But that they do that to like hide the reveals, like they to keep the secrets. Because I don't know if you have this problem, but all over YouTube, all over Twitter, there's leaks everywhere. I think people spoiling stuff. So
Yeah,
they got
I
to do
had
what
to
they got to
avoid it.
do. Huh?
I had to avoid that junk all day because shoot to think about it, shoot I'll be at work.
Yeah.
I'll be seeing notifications coming up to some spoiler. I, I had to keep my keyword thing in and say nothing about Doctor Strange. I had to type that in as a keyword in the block.
Yeah.
I said, oh man, I was mad. I said, why?
Did you get spoiled?
Nope,
Well, that's
because
good.
I was at work all week.
That's cool.
Man, because sure, I just had to avoid a video come up to some Doctor Strange Multiverse Madness update. I said, nah, I took it off my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apart from the Wanda being the villain, did you like everything else in the movie?
Oh yeah. And put the one thing I didn't like is them using the American Sharkface just as a plot point in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Be,
totally get it. Yeah.
because like for me, right, if you look at it,
The
it's
powers are cool though.
yeah. Yeah, and kind of like for me, right? If you were jumping the universe that long, you will learn how to use your powers at some point.
Yeah. I feel like they excuse with like being a teenager and stuff, but like yeah, I feel like if she gets her own TV show or her own, if she comes into another movie, then yeah, she'll definitely have to level up.
Yeah, because I know, like in DC, Status Sharp was a teenager. That's what
Yeah.
he still learned how to use his powers,
Yeah, that's true.
and his powers is more deadlier than hers.
Yeah. You know, that's true.
And and kind of like for the future of Marvel is if they don't bring back Tony or nobody, Death Illuminati, the MCU might be in trouble because you need an Iron Man
You
for
need that.
for
You need
like
that Tom Cruise Iron Man, don't you?
yeah yeah it if Robbie Down Jr. just want to come back, he would. As long as Marvel offer him the right money.
That's true. Actually, that is true.
And the thing about Tom Cruise, so he might go to DC just for a franchise in Green Lantern
Maybe, yeah.
because he like franchises more than one-off movies.
Yeah.
And did you it kind of like for me right now? I'm kind of had a problem about Marvel not casting another Black Panther, and that's kind of like my problem
Oh
with it.
yeah. I feel like that's super hard though, because like they probably had this Black Panther 2 script when Chadwick was alive, and they had to change everything because they didn't know. So it's like they're in a really tough spot. You know, I don't. It's like
But
real tough. You know.
but this means that they had recast War Machine. They recast the other people that work for Thor up in the other movies, but you can't recast Black Panther. That make no sense.
Yeah. I feel like if you think about it, like if you go from Black Panther 1 to Black Panther 2, right?
Yeah.
It's like because I think War Machine is like he was in one movie, right? I think, and he was like a supporting character, whereas Chadwick was in like 5 movies. He was in like Civil War, Endgame. It's like it would
Yeah.
like take you out of the movie. Imagine you watch Black Panther 2 and they recast it, right? It's gonna
Hmm.
take like a good 5-10 minutes of like trying to get used to it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I feel
And
like yeah, it would
and
take like a while.
this could have been like a real good movie just to put the new Black Panther in. And this movie or No Way Home,
Yeah,
they could have used the recast up in that movie.
yeah,
Just put them in there just as a teaser thing at the
yeah.
end of the movie. Then the people just get used to it after that.
Well, if there's, I don't think, yeah, it's hard. Like for Black Panther 2, yeah, they're obviously not going to do the recasting thing. But you know what they could do with this whole multiverse stuff? Maybe not in Black Panther 2, but like in the next Avengers, they could have like if they do multiverse, they could have like a variant Black Panther.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's the best way to go. So like Black Panther 2, do whatever you have to do, have that funeral, have that whatever the story they're gonna tell. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but like for the next Avengers, have like a new variant come in. So that could like be a good way to like have a new Black Panther.
And do you think just by Wanda messing with the Darkhold book, did she bring back certain Avengers that probably was dead?
Hmm. That's a good point, actually. I'm not sure what's gonna happen with Wanda now because she like destroyed all the books in like all the multiverse,
Yeah.
and like she obviously like put that mountain on top of her. So she's probably going to take a break. She's not going to probably be in other movies for like a few years. I feel like they're going to give her character a break. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Until probably like a 4 or 5 year break until we see her again and see what she's up to. But yeah, who knows what could happen? Yeah, they're definitely not done with this whole multiverse stuff though, with the TV shows and stuff and everything that's going on.
Yeah. Yep. Because the thing about it, if you look at the multiverse as a whole,
Yeah,
and
Kang is the
Kang is
most.
coming.
Yeah, Kang is going to be. I feel like he's the next big villain. I mean, the actor who plays him, he's like one of my favorite actors. He's so good. Have you
Yeah.
seen the photos of him getting jacked for like that Creed movie he's doing?
Oh.
Apparently, with
Oh yeah. Oh
he is jacked in that. So if he looks like that in the as Kang, yeah, he's going to be real menacing. I think he'll give Michael B. Jordan a run for his money, like he was for Killmonger in that movie.
oh yeah. And Kang is killing Killmonger, no problem. He killing
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Oh, that
Kill.
Loki show was so good. I feel like that's my favorite MCU show. That Loki show, it was so good.
No, my favorite MCO show is like Falcon.
Falcon Winter
Yeah,
Soldier is
yeah,
good. Yeah,
yeah. I like that
I
one.
don't know what it is about that Loki show. The music in that show is so good.
Oh yes, original. I think I think the music original in the show.
Yeah, so good.
Now then Loki was my second. My third one had to be Moon Knight,
Yeah,
because
Moon
like
Knight was good.
Moon Knight really surprised me just as a new character, and for the show to be good. Yeah, and plus my fourth one got to be Hawkeye, and my least favorite show had to been WandaVision. Because that show has so much potential and is wasted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
And
totally.
and 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 plus up in that show, they couldn't introduce Wolverine, they couldn't introduce Cyclops, the
Yeah,
X-Men, everything.
I feel like the Ralph Boner thing. I feel like if they just kept the Quicksilver like the Fox, it would have been better instead of like that
Yeah,
weird thing they did.
yeah, because it made a joke just to
Yeah,
say saying that that's the real Quicksilver, and plus we all know that's the real Quicksilver anyway because you
yeah,
can't
exactly.
hide
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
for nobody.
Yeah, they need to fix that. Yeah, they need to fix that. Whatever they do next. The only thing that's sad is like this multiverse Doctor Strange film was like the film I was looking forward to like in this phase. So like
Mhm.
now I look at the next films that are coming up. Like I don't really see a film that's gonna be as
That
hyped. You know what I mean? For
yeah,
like a while.
and kind of like the Thor movies. The Thor movie,
Thor.
that
Yeah,
on the special effects look good, but we know the stories don't be good.
yeah.
Now,
Thor might be good. I'm not sure.
because like the last Thor movie was bad. It was a bad Thor movie because you
The
look at that.
Ragnarok one.
Yeah, because you look at the animated version of that story
Yeah.
and try to look at this one, your feelings and boy, and but you're gonna be mad.
Is Black Panther meant to come out this year or is that next year?
I think they're doing it next year. I think because
Mm,
they're doing reshoots and stuff like that.
yeah.
That might not come out
So we
next
got
year.
Thor. What else have we got this year?
Black Adam come out this year. I think
Oh, that's cool.
that just with the Rock, and plus we know that Flash might come out next year. Well, Aquaman come out next year too.
All right. Well, it's cool
And
talking to you, man. I gotta go now.
all right, I'll see you later, man.
See you later, man.
And kind of like for me and stuff like that, Jonathan, I hope you have a good day and stuff like that. And kind of like for me, right, in my opinion, dealing with this movie, it's like the stakes actually was high in this movie. I like this movie. this this movie right here did not, in my opinion, disappoint me. In my opinion, the movie did not, in my opinion, disappoint. If y'all got any questions in the chat that ask me anything like that about the movie, I'll be glad to answer them. If y'all got any questions to ask me and stuff like that about the movie, be because like for me, right? So in my opinion, oh, okay, okay. I have not seen that. Okay, when it come out Disney Plus. Oh, okay, Philip. That because the movie was good though. The Doctor Strange was good, and kind of like for me, right? In my opinion, what I like about it, that the stakes was actually there the whole movie. But but the thing about this film is like they had jokes, but but the jokes didn't overtake the on the movie. If y'all know what I mean, they're dealing with MCU stuff, everything like that. Because most of the time when you see a film dealing with MCU, you dealing with the MCU stuff, everything like that, dealing with jokes and everything else like that, in my opinion. And plus, in this film, did not, in my opinion, just had jokes. It was actually serious and good, in my opinion. And it sound like some people like this movie, some people don't. But the thing about this film, right, that I like, in my opinion, is like it shows like Doctor Strange going through challenges. Going through challenges in his opinion, going through challenges in my opinion, for him to beat somebody. Because you look at the Captain Marvel movie, the Captain Marvel movie did not think in my opinion went through challenges. That the character Captain Marvel, her movie, did not go to challenges in my opinion. That but in this movie, the, Doctor Strange went through challenges. He was trying to solve problems doing this movie and stuff like that. In my opinion, he tried. He tried. He failed at certain points. That that then he put it inside this Doctor Strange, the good one that from the MCU, did not try to take her power. In my opinion, he made her believe in herself. But the other Doctor Strange at the beginning of the movie, he was good too. I like him, but it feels like, in my opinion, is that Doctor Strange was kind of nerfed. In my opinion, it was kind of nerfed. In my opinion, that the Doctor Strange movie. If y'all knew, y'all can like the video and sub to the channel. But if y'all got a question to ask me, then y'all can put it up in the chat if y'all ask me some question. Because like for me, right, in my opinion, this is spoiler discussion. This is spoiler. And kind of like for me, seeing the Illuminati was good. It felt good in my opinion. But the thing about the Illuminati I wanted to see was the Black Panther in Illuminati. And for the scene, like in my opinion, is that this movie might not be as it's not it's not a jokey bad MCU movie. It's not a bad MCU movie. It's actually a movie that's real good in my opinion. Be because like for me, so in my opinion, Mary Chavez character, I had like her in this movie, but it seemed like in this movie they was using her as a plot device, and that's the one thing that I didn't like. I like her as a character. She had show emotion. She couldn't act. Elizabeth Olsen, Scarlet Witch. She was good in this movie. Elizabeth Olsen, she was good in this movie and stuff like that. She was good. I like her. Um, Doctor Strange was good in this movie. Doctor Strange, Elizabeth Olsen, a whole lot of people was good in this movie, in my opinion. It was actually good. And kind of like in my opinion, stuff like that. So like the MCU future, shoot, I do think it's actually good in my opinion. The MCU future in this movie is not a bad future in my opinion. And it kind of seemed like for me, right, just dealing with the MCU overall and stuff like that. That is what I'm seeing. Um, it is so the MCU just let the directors be them. I think the future is bright, in my opinion. I do think the future is bright. Some people might like it, some people might not like the new directions the MCU going. But the only thing I ask for is good storytelling and make sure that the movie is sound like go off the core essence of the character. If y'all know how I'm talking about doing that, because for me, I be seeing like directors make movies and sound like the movies don't even go with the core of the character, and that's why I don't like. For like for me, in my opinion, dealing with the Doctor Strange movies and stuff like that, because it kind of seems like to me that they don't go by the MCU. The one that counts is much better and much serious, I think, than the one that's up in the MCU, in my opinion. But everybody's different. But everybody's different time for that. Um, um, what's their tone they like and stuff like that, in my opinion. Some people like it, some people don't. And kind of like for me, right? Dealing with the Illuminati fight scene, dealing with Wanda is like for me, right? Is like we all know that was a dumb move by them by not letting Doctor Strange get to the book even before Wanda got there and fired and kill him. Seemed like in my opinion, because like the fight was, I like the fight. The fight was good. The fight wasn't a bad fight. But we all know that Mister Fantastic just would have died up in the fight just from Wanda. Should we know this? Be because like for me, right? Shoot, I like Wanda. Everything else like that. I like Wanda. I like Wanda. Everything else like that. Dealing with the movie. And sound like that. And sound like my questions I got for this movie is like, will this movie have ripple effects? Because like for me, knowing this movie and what Wanda was doing throughout this whole movie and stuff like that, I think this movie, in my opinion, will have ripple effects. In my opinion, I think it will. Some people might like me for saying that, some people might not. But this WandaVision movie right here will have ripple effects throughout the universes, and that's just what I think. And kind of like I don't think she's dead, and that is my opinion. I don't think she's dead, in my opinion. Some people just might think she's dead, some people might not. But we all know that WandaVision is not dead, and that is my opinions on that. And kind of like for me, like I think for me, in my opinion, that Wanda might be living up in the universe hiding. Oh, I seen the film. It's tied. It's a seven. I was entertained, but disappointed at the same time. I understand that. I I understand that criticism right there. I understand that criticism. That shoot, I give this movie a 8 point, a 8 to 8.5 to this film. Uh, But that 7 you give it, I understand. I understand that. I, I understand they give this a 7. Could you tell me the things that you didn't like Derpy game about it? Because like because like for me, if this movie right here do not in my opinion just have effects throughout the universe of what I think, and that just me in my opinion, because this movie should have ripple effects throughout the universe. Sound like some people think it might, some people think it won't. And kind of like for me, right? Shoot, in my opinion, is like I do think that this movie will have special effects that will have effects to the universe. I think, in my opinion, it will. But the thing is, some people might not like this universe that has ripple effects on the movie. And kind of like I do think it would have ripple effects throughout the other movies and stuff like that, especially the X-Men movies. Because the thing about it is the big old Professor Xavier for 6 months, six figure out how he died and stuff like that. It's like he might not even help Wanda. I think something like that in my opinion, and that just my opinion on it and stuff like that. And that's kind of like for me, right? That's kind of like one of the disappointments that that's kind of like one of the disappointments that I I don't like in my opinion. Okay, the use of Illuminati was weak, and that was one of my pet peeves as well. Then with this, because for me, shoot, I wouldn't think that Wanda would have been able to beat up the Illuminati that easily, and that's kind of like my gripe about it because like and Wanda, I did I kind of get why they did Wanda as the villain in this movie. But the thing about for me, right, is like they could have introduced, in my opinion, uh, Mr. Sinister. That is an X-Men villain that got the same capabilities, are a little bit more powerful and stuff like that. And that's kind of like for me, in my opinion, what I would do. That I was directing the movie, but that we know that MCU might not do it. But we know how the MCU is just deal with certain stuff. Uh, of my opinion, is what I think. I do think the MCU, in my opinion, do get a problem just doing certain stuff. I think, in my opinion, because we might not agree with everything they do, but the thing about it, the things they do good, I will give them credit for, and that just me, in my opinion, like that. I will give them credit on stuff when they do it good, and when it's bad, I will tell them that it was bad, in my opinion. But the Illuminati stuff was weak, like you said. That was a weak way for them to use Illuminati. Because it seemed like the Illuminati was sound like a cameo that they just put in there for people to keep on coming back to the movies and stuff like that, just to look at that part again. And that's what it seemed like. Because you got Captain Carter. Captain Carter wasn't part of no Illuminati. The last time I checked in the comic books, unless I'm wrong, somebody probably can tell me up in the chat and stuff like that if I'm wrong or something like that. Because the last time I checked, Captain Carter, Agent Carter, I think in my opinion, was not part of no Illuminati. That's the last time I checked. because that's what I don't read some comics, and that's kind of like the thing. I don't. That's the kind of thing I don't like overall. They do the MCU, everything like that. And for the brutality was pretty intense. Be, because like showing her going to the sanctum and stuff like that, and her just mess with people. Ooh, boy, that was good. That was good in my opinion. That was actually good. Now, the real brutality, and plus you got there was so many possibilities from what if series. Yep, yep. You was right about that. The what if series did like throw in so many problems inside this movie because we know like the MCU the what if people wanted some of their stuff in this movie, and that's what I don't like half the time. Because because like for me, just having it in the series is good, but you don't connect it to the live action. Be because that's what this means. Why would you put it in the live action movie? Because like for me, I like her in the movie, but she ended up dying anyway because we know that she's just a super soldier and she cannot beat no sorcerer supreme or nothing like that. One of the Scarlet Witches. Why would you even why would you even put that in the movie? And that's kind of like the thing that I didn't like about it. And that's kind of like one of the things that I didn't like and stuff like that. And kind of like for me, right, that's what I didn't like about the that didn't like about this movie is like why you put like in my opinion Wong in this movie. I like Wong, but it seemed like Wong just been a side character in this movie, which I didn't mind and stuff like that. But we know that Wong could do some damage more than what he did in this movie. Because y'all might not like me saying this, but the thing about it, I don't think Wong should be the Sorcerer Supreme for a while. Cause you got your butt beat, man, and that's kind of like my problem I got with it. Why is Wong still Sorcerer Supreme? And that's kind of like my problem with it. Man, I say, God, I was so mad, bro. Wong is still Sorcerer Supreme, and that's kind of like my things about it. What I didn't like, and kind of like my thing for the What Is series, which I did like the What Is series. The What Is series was serious and stuff like that. Was serious and brought more stuff to it. And kind of like my problem with it and stuff like that, what I like or didn't like about it. Hmm, I didn't like some stuff like that, but could have been better though. And look at the way I'm a DC guy, but best described this film will be Infinite Crisis on CW. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Somebody said it. Because like for me, I like the film and everything like that, but this movie this movie went to so many dimensions and stuff like that. It went here, it went there. I said, God, dog, how many, how many down dimensions is it? It was over 600, 800 and something dimensions. Sound like Christine said, I think 800 or something. And how she figured out it was that much and stuff like that. And kind of like who was actually going through half of the stuff. That's what I think in my opinion. Who was actually going through it? Because the thing about it, I think if DC movie just would have did this right here, did this movie it or did it better, then MCU people still would have found a problem with it. They still would have found a problem with it, and just the movie was bad. They would have a problem with it. They would be because like the MCU people probably could say, so we won't be biased. We won't be biased and stuff like that. In my opinion, we won't be biased. I said, what? Half y'all people is biased, and that's just my opinion. And it's just, and kind of like my opinion, I do think that MCU people is more biased towards DC than DC is biased to Marvel, and that is my opinion about it. Y'all might not like me saying it, but we all know that I am telling the truth about the MCU people. Y'all can try to go in the comment section after this live over and say that y'all don't do it, but we see it up in y'all videos and we see it online and we see it on Twitter. That sound like DC could do the same thing that Marvel do, but they always be doing it. They always be doing it though. Yeah, and that's my opinion on it. But yep, exactly the problem about biased Marvel fans. They go to the movies and not the characters. Yep, yep, and that is my problem with because you look at how can I say the Captain Marvel movie. The Captain Marvel movie was bad be, because like Captain Marvel wasn't Captain Marvel. It wasn't like and kind of like for me, right? Shoot, in my opinion, and kind of like my problem with it. If y'all got a question about the Marvel fan that is biased, I kind of answer that for y'all because like for me, the Captain Marvel movie was not the movie that I expected it to be. Because the Captain Marvel movie I expected to be better, and that was one of my hype movies I actually hyped for, and that kind of disappointed me in a way. Because like some of the people who know the character Captain Marvel just was saying the movie was gonna be bad, but I say to myself, nah, the movie could be better. The movie could be good and stuff like that. But they came out, they was right. The movie was bad. I say, yeah, nah, they was right. Man, yep. And Disney Plus, the Disney Plus stuff is not the best quality shows besides the MCU stuff and Star Wars. Besides those two, nobody nobody in my opinion will be getting Disney Plus if it wasn't for the Star Wars show, The Mandalorian and stuff like that. Because you look at the people who look at Disney Plus, the stuff like that, they don't really look at Disney Plus unless the Star Wars showed out, and that is my opinion on that. And that's kind of like my that's kind of like my difference I see because you look at people who look at Disney Plus on a regular compared to casual people. the casual people really don't look at Disney Plus unless it's unless I get it in my opinion. Of my opinion, they don't. They can try to argue that and anything like that as a Disney Plus fan. That's when if Marvel and Star Wars stuff wasn't on there, a lot of people would not be getting Disney Plus, and that is my opinion on it. Y'all can try to argue with it. Y'all can try to argue with it and everything else like that. But we all know that I am telling the truth on that. And that's kind of like my problem I got with it. Because like for me, right, that's what I'm seeing. That I'm seeing from these MCU fans. If this Doctor Strange movie was bad, anything like that, it is that they would have found all types of excuses to give this movie. It would have been. They would have been giving excuses to this movie, everything else like that. And some like scary parts of this movie, it's like you seeing Wanda actually kills in this movie and stuff like that. She was actually killing in this movie, and that's what surprised me. They actually show a character that used to be a hero kills, which kind of like for me, right? Actually, was a good, in my opinion, a good start. Which kind of like for me, it's actually a good thing. Because it seems like Marvel try to go away from the formula and stuff like that. But think about for me, this is only one movie. This is only one movie. I'm trying to wait for the next movie and see that if Marvel, in my opinion, is just gonna go away from the formula and just gonna show killing and stuff like that. If they're gonna do that, then I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. If they're gonna show killing, stakes, just showing people, just showing the consequences of actions and stuff like that, I would be glad to see it. And it sounds like the Moon Knight show. The Moon Knight show is actually good, but the thing about for me with this Wanda thing actually is actually for me, which I didn't like, in my opinion, it seemed like Wanda didn't have no remorse. From the on the WandaVision show, because the thing about it, when you look at the WandaVision show and stuff like that, it seemed like it to me. It seemed like it to me, in my opinion, is that she didn't learn from that situation and of that situation. I think, in my opinion, they didn't learn, which I think for me is actually a bad thing. Which kind of for me made me mad because think about it. What you learn, from that situation, what not to do. Since you saw people suffer in the last movie, which I didn't like, in my opinion, of people actually, which I think, in my opinion, that she should have been arrested at the end of One Vision, and that people might not agree with me on that, but that's what. It, looking at this movie and what she did, it seemed like to me is that she should have been arrested, and but it's showing to me that in this movie, they're showing to me in this movie, it seemed like the man that was trying to arrest her up in One Division just had the right idea. I probably wouldn't have did some things he did, which I think for me is actually it could be actually a good or a bad thing, but in the movie Silent Johnson, they could be who wasn't here earlier. Um, he did have a good point just by saying that she might be taking a rest or anything like that because she might be going to the realization is that the stuff that she created was not real, and that's kind of like my thing for me, in my opinion. That, which I think, in my opinion, could be, which I think for me is actually a good thing for me, in my opinion. Which I think for me could be a good or a bad thing, but if that sound like therapy say, 5 minutes on Disney Plus, besides the movies and shows they got, they don't really got a whole lot of variations. I think, in my opinion, they don't. Which was kind of like for me, right? Was kind of for me, right? That some of the stuff they got is, which I think for me is actually a good thing. And kind of like the one thing, shoot, I didn't like this movie, Mordor. This movie Mordor was actually pretty good because this Mordor was not an evil Mordor, but he was like a Mordor that was kind of in between the lines and stuff like that. In between the lines, anything like that. And that's kind of what it looked like for me. What kind of Mordor he was, because the Mordor and Doctor Strange one was, it sound like the Mordor and Doctor Strange one, the Doctor Strange universe, the one we know up in the MCU, is not like very forgiving. Which kind of like for me, right? Which kind of for me shows that they got, which kind of showed for me was actually a good thing. Which kind of like for me shows that it's actually a good thing. It's actually a good thing to show that Doctor Strange arc and stuff like that in this movie is actually good, because like the Doctor Strange arc in this movie was actually good. It actually learned that that he got to be different for him for him in my opinion, just not to show the sheer arrogance the rest of them had. He had to go through that arc of him knowing that you can't cut everybody off. You can be smart and arrogant stuff like that, but you can't cut everybody off from you. And that's just what I know and stuff like that. And which for me, right, shows that if this Doctor Strange, I think, in my opinion, could get more powerful, which kind of shows, in my opinion, everybody might like me, but this Doctor Strange need to get more powerful, just to know that if another threat like that ever shows up, that he probably can do it, in my opinion. Which kind of like for me, right, shows like in my opinion, up in my opinion, right? If they can show certain stuff, which I think, in my opinion, could be like a real good situation, in my opinion, and that just which I think, in my opinion, could be like a real good situation for people. Which I think, in my opinion, could be like a real good thing. Which I think, for me, right? In my opinion, if they can show the X Men's up in the, they can teach the X Men's or some kind of Fantastic Four in the next movies. Which kind of like, for me, right, could be a good thing, because we need to show the X Men's tease rest of Fantastic Four, the X Men's, everything else like that. Because like Disney Plus, I don't hate Disney Plus, but something for me, it's like, shoot, I do think that HBO Max and Netflix is just better, in my opinion. I do think it's better. HBO Max and Disney, HBO Max and Netflix is one and two. In time for streaming service, I look at Disney Plus. I look at sometime. I look at sometime when it's just I don't want. I want to look at an MCU movie coming up, and plus I need to look at a series and anything else like that. Which I think, for me, could be a good thing if they actually show it. Which I think, for me, could be a good or a bad thing for some people. And it sounds like the good thing, shoot, man. That's just I want to see, in my opinion. Which I think, for me, right, if they can show, in my opinion, as a Marvel brand, if they can show that, they can show, if they can keep on going dark and stuff like that, and that would be a good thing. Because then, for me, if they can show that they could go dark and stuff like that, and it's just in my opinion, and that's a win. That's a win in my book. That's a win in my book, and they can show them going dark and things like that, and sound like the next X Men's character show I want to see on screen, in my opinion, is I want to see Cyclops. I want to see Iceman. I want to see the original team. I want to see the original team, and plus for the X Men future, I want to see Jubilee. And that's the thing about me. I want to see Jubilee. I want to see Jubilee up in the MCU done right, and just not teasing her and not using her. Which kind of like, for me, shows that the MCU, I think, in my opinion, will have a Fantastic Four movie in the future, next year or the year after that, in the X Men's movies. Because they got an article saying that Patrick Stewart said that he don't mind coming back for appearances, cause and that's true, and that means that he might appear in a movie, or 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 he could be like the older version of him that's in another universe. If y'all get what I'm talking about and stuff like that, because that we all know, like, dealing with the MCU movies and everything else like that, is like we know that the MCU teases us sometimes and don't use it. aka Adam Warlock, aka Adam Warlock, that was teaching Guardians too, and they ain't never use him for Infinity War on Endgame, and that kind of disappointed me because we know up in the comic books is that Adam Warlock was actually a real he was actually a real big part of the Infinity War saga. If y'all know what I'm talking about. Because like for me, right, for them, in my opinion, not to use Adam Warlock, it was kind of like a real big disappointment. Of my opinion, it was that was a big disappointment. In my opinion, sound like some people might like it, some people might not, because it seemed like it to me that they didn't actually had a plan. In my opinion, and that kind of disappointed me right there. Because like for me, I feel that they should have had a plan. They should have had a plan and stuff like that. And for it seemed like they didn't have a plan, the Illuminati, which is kind of like the dumbest thing in this movie. Because you know that you got a Wanda that got a real potential to go evil, and you don't have a potential plan to try to slow her down, or you didn't try even bringing in a good version of her, at least trying to slow her down and stuff like that. In my opinion, which would have been smarter, or try to bring in another Professor Xavier or Wanda or somebody that kind of like how can I say this? Somebody somebody in my opinion that can kind of act what she doing. If y'all know what I'm talking about dealing with that, which I kind of like or didn't like at the same time. That it's kind of like the different versions of Doctor Strange I saw. It looks good. It looks good in the movie. Uh, and kind of like our MCU Doctor Strange need to level up. Which kind of like for me, in my opinion, actually, in my opinion, was actually a good thing. And kind of like the other stuff I like or didn't like. Um, because like the stuff shoot I did like dealing with the MCU. In my opinion, on Doctor Strange is like he wasn't too arrogant and stuff like that. In my opinion, he wasn't, and kind of like he wasn't too arrogant, sound like the other ones, because the other ones seemed like they was thinking of the mission and not about the person they was protecting. Because you see Doctor Strange that was in the beginning, he just wanted to take her power for himself to try to save the world. I understand that, but the thing about for me is like, shoot, my plan wouldn't have been to try to take her power though. That would me. I was trying to help her control it and stuff like that, and for her to try to use help, and for her to use help doing the movies and stuff like that. If y'all know what I'm talking about, the dealing with the movies and anything else like that. But it's kind of like for me, was kind of like for me should have been was kind of for me. It's actually a good thing for me in my opinion. It actually could be a good thing or a bad thing, but the thing it just depends on the person. What I think was actually protecting them, and kind of like the one thing shoot I want to see protection dealing with Doctor Strange is him learning how to um uh him learning new spells and stuff like which kind of like for me could have been like a real good which could have been a good or bad thing. But the thing about for me, what y'all think for me, which could have made the movie because the post credit scene, if y'all seen it, the post credit scene got somebody with a purple saber, him saying like he calls it encouragement. But the thing, in my opinion, is who's actually there that can actually take advantage of that encouragement. Is that Mr. Sinister? Is that another Thanos? Is it something like that? Because shoot, I don't know if it's another version of of that of that character, or could that be like another evil Doctor Strange? Because like for me, right, just for the next movie that come out, they need to show who that was doing that encouraging. Yeah, that is just my opinion on it. And kind of like for the X Men's characters, they got X Men's characters. They can use a whole lot of other characters up in the MCU, man. That's not X Men. They can use Ghost Rider. We could get a Blade um up in the next. Up in my opinion, it could be a good thing or a bad thing, but for me, I want to see a Blade movie. I want to see a Blade movie come out, and that just me in my opinion on it, because we need a Blade movie to come out, whether we like it or not. And kind of like the thing I like and stuff like that, dealing with the movies and everything else like that, which I do like. Yeah, and kind of like this movie. I like the special effects of this movie because the special effects of this movie was not bad. The special effects of the movie was not bad in my opinion. It wasn't bad. It was actually good. I actually like special effects in this movie. And plus, you see the way that they did the magic. You see the way that that the person was running from Wanda and stuff like that. That scene putting on the doors and stuff like that, and seeing like the big old suspense just to see if the door will hold. And Sam Raimi did it again. He made another good movie. He made another one. He made another good movie. He made another good movie in my opinion. One of the best ones so far of this phase. I think this movie is better than No Way Home. It's close, but this movie right here, it could be like tied as some of the best MCU movies. And No Way Home and this one is the two best movies in this. How can I say this? In this phase, it's the two best ones. In my opinion, if y'all think that another movie was better besides No Way Home and stuff like that, then y'all can tell me. Then y'all can tell me in between and stuff like that. If y'all think anything was better, which I think for me, right, could be better. It could be better in my opinion. Could be better, could not be better. But if y'all got moving this phase or show, which I think is better than this one, then y'all can tell me. Then and y'all can tell me in between, which I think for me could have been good. Could have been good. Which I think for me could have been like a which I think for me could have been like a real good thing for me in my opinion. If they can show it. If they can show it in this phase of them getting more serious, blood, violence, and 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 plus the MCU in my opinion got to go rated R. They got to go rated R in one of them movies somehow. Because think about me, if they don't go rated R in one of them movies somehow, I think in my opinion, it'd be bad. It'd be a dumbed down version of the character, I think in my opinion. Something like Blade be rated R, but PG-13 to say. If the Moon Knight comes to the MCU, they can't dumb him down. I think, in my opinion, they can't do that. And sound like the Moon Knight show was actually good, especially in my opinion at the end, showing that the third version of him actually did some bad stuff, which I seen, and that's kind of like my opinion is what I'm seeing and stuff like that. Dealing with movies, shows, and everything else like that, in my opinion. And that's what I'm seeing. Deal with everything I'm seeing right now, and kind of like the stuff shoot on that stuff I want to see in the MCU is like them willing to take more chances. Just like this movie right here was actually good. Sound like this movie right here, this Thor: Love and Thunder, what we're seeing like is gonna be a bad. It won't be. It won't be a good movie. I think in my opinion, it won't be as good as Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, because that's what if you look at the movie, it don't seem like Multiverse of Madness. It seems like because it seemed like in this movie, in my opinion, it seemed like it was Wanda versus the multiverse. It wasn't Wanda versus it it wasn't no multiverse. It wasn't no movie name, no in my opinion. It wasn't no Doctor Strange multiverse of madness of him just trying to fix it, because it seemed like it was something else. I think in my opinion. It would seem like it seemed like another movie. And kind of like in my opinion, and stuff like that. What I like about this movie, America Chavez did have development in this movie, and plus I seen one of her on this movie. It seemed like that she was born to do certain stuff. I think that she don't know how to act sometimes. The way it seemed like with her powers, is she not in control? Because it seemed like at the end of this movie is that she might be in more in control of her power. Seem like that y'all might, and kind of like in this movie wasn't showing her being all perfect. That as that as she can always use her powers and stuff there already, and that's actually a good thing that I saw in this movie. Is that in my opinion is actually a good thing, showing that American Chavez is not a perfect character, is that she's flawed, is that she can't use her powers right away, which I think in my opinion, could be like a good thing in my opinion, of her not being perfect, and she wasn't a bad character in this movie, and she wasn't a bad character in my opinion in this movie. She wasn't. And kind of like for me, if y'all think that she was a bad character and this is a reason why you think she was a bad character, then y'all can tell me in the chat, or y'all can tell me because like for me, she wasn't a bad character in this movie. She was a plot device, but she wasn't a bad character in my opinion. She might have been a plot device and stuff like that for y'all if y'all got a gripe with that, I understand that gripe. But it seemed like it to me, right, based on characters and what I like, is that she wasn't a real. It's kind of like for me that she wasn't. Which kind of like for me, it's not a bad thing for me, in my opinion. That for me to say that American Summer was not a bad character. If y'all can tell me down below at this live stream was done that, the reason why y'all think she was a bad character. But my grade for this movie, I'm near the end of the stream. My grade for this movie, my grade for this movie is like a how can I say this? It's like a four. It's like a four. It's like a 8.0. It's like a a 8.5 out of 10. It wasn't a perfect movie, but the movie was good. I give it an 8 to 8.5. That's my grade for this movie. If y'all got a different grade for it, that because I know Dirt got a whole different grade, 7. You can give it a 7, and plus that for me, I understand the reason why he give it a 7. And some of my gripes was his gripes as well. It just would have seemed like they did have different stuff, I think, in my opinion. But so in my opinion, it still was a good movie. It's not a 6, a nut like that. It's not a 6 movie, and not like that. Everybody think, or a 5, or a fail movie. But the movie was good. The movie was good in my opinion, because I like that. And everybody on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. I will see y'all later. I'll see y'all later. See y'all next time.